Uh, Yo, it's me, CSNES. I'm here to give you a quick tutorial on the basics of OBS. I got my webcam here, and now I don't. It's gonna be blocking stuff half the time anyway, so you know. There you go. Let's get rid of it. So the purpose of this video is I got a lot of people in Discord who are getting into streaming and are pretty new with OBS in general, things like that. So this is not an in-depth video. You can see this is the screen as I see it while I'm streaming. Now obviously it's not going to show everything in this window here, the 10,000 windows into oblivion. But this is what I see. So this is mainly aimed at people, like I said, streaming on Twitch, who are fairly new. It's not in depth. It's basics. It is also not going to be telling you, you know, use these settings. These are the best. I'm explaining what each settings do. You guys can play with them for yourselves. I just want you to be comfortable diving into OBS. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the OBS settings menu, you know, down here below recording and studio mode and all that. You've got, you know, whatever language you prefer, your theme. You guys can look through these as you want. I can't remember which one's default. I think Yami's default, so that's why mine might look a little different than yours. Open stats dialog. I've never used that, but we can see what it does. Well, nothing, because we're not startup. Hide OBS windows from screen capture. So this tells you right there what it does. If you want to capture a screen and you don't, I would say this is probably more useful if you have one monitor. You don't want to show OBS and you have to have everything on one screen. You can click that and hit apply, and there you go. This is what you're looking at. So, as you can see, it just shows my background. It no longer shows OBS. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Here's your updates. You can have OBS automatically check. Most of this stuff you really don't need to show. You're like, tweak it all. I go with stable. Man, I just do not trust anything other than stable updates anymore. Here's one that I prefer. Show confirmation dialog when streaming starts. So when you go to hit start stream, they'll do this. Are you sure you want to start the stream? Because I'm not actually streaming. Anyway, we'll come back in. None of this stuff really matters. You guys can look at it, you know, dialogues for stuff. If you're somebody that likes to back up and record or like manually upload to YouTube, automatically record when streaming might be a good one. You can also have it keep recording when your stream stops. I guess if you wanted to have like an outro or whatever, things like that after that. This is a big one, kind of. You know, you're going to be streaming here. If you haven't connected your account yet, this is where you'll connect your account. Default on server is auto. Usually it won't give you an issue. If you're having some strange issues with Twitch, like you're streaming and your internet is fine, but you're having a drop bit rate, like drop frames, things like that, it might be worth testing which Twitch server is best. I did this. There's some tools online you can find that will go through a whole detailed test of all of the Twitch servers for your region, you know, whether it be North America, Europe, whatever. And the Toronto, Canada server was actually the best option for me. So just leave it there now. You can also do bandwidth test mode. I really don't know how useful this is, to be honest. Basically what bandwidth test mode does is it's supposed to be able to check whether you can handle this bandwidth without making your channel go live. So you're supposed to be able to test things, but it did not ever actually work that way in my experience. So I don't really know how useful it is. After that, you got which add-ons you want. None. This is just for emotes and stuff in Twitch chat. There is no inclusion for 7TV yet, unfortunately. And then these are the max that you can put to Twitch. You can click this button to ignore it. There you go. You may have degraded stream quality that prevent you from streaming. Look, you just don't. Don't bother. If you're streaming to Twitch, your max bitrate is 6,000 kilobits per second. Your max audio is 320. The video is more important. We're going to go over that in a hot second. Here's my settings that I've been using right now. So am I missing his page? No. All right. So output's your next tab down. I've been doing 5,000 kilobits per second the past few streams. 320 on the audio. I can't change this right now because I'm recording. Well, I've been using software. You can do software or hardware encoding. All this means is, are you using your CPU, which is the software, or are you using your GPU for hardware? I can change the... It's weird that I can't change that now. But you can change the quality on your stream. Unless you have some kind of real high-end processor. I don't recommend going any lower down this list than very fast. If you do faster, and you're not on a high-end rig, you're gonna really start sucking down CPU usage. And this looks good. So the biggest difference here is if you have a budget build like I do, very middle of the market, things like that, software is almost always going to give you cleaner results. It gives you less compression, things like that. You're just, down here, it's using 5.8% of my CPU right now to record this. That's not too bad. If you were to bump it up, you could get 10. If you start approaching 20% CPU usage, that's when you're going to start noticing slowdowns, because this number down here is exclusively what OBS is using. So you got to factor in what your CPU is doing on top of this for all the other processes. So if you're using 20% just on OBS, you're going to start to notice slowdowns because you're still trying to run all those other programs. NVIDIA people with your NVIDIA cards, I can't help you out much, I'll be honest, because I don't have an NVIDIA card. I have an AMD card. I do use the hardware mode occasionally. I've actually used it a lot. I don't know why I say occasionally. But the settings on that are real simple. There's not much to do. If you click this over to hardware, it keeps video and audio bitrate. The only thing down here is it just says either beautiful, or it says quality, balanced, or speed, I think. So I had it on quality for a while. It looks okay. It runs fine. It takes load off CPU. It's not as accurate. That's just the only way to put it. If you're in the places you're going to notice this are in environments in a game where you're moving or turning real quick and there's a lot of stuff going on the screen, you're going to get compression and pixelation. That's just all there is to it. You're going to have less of that with software. Software is just more accurate. And, medium CPU usage seems to be fine for me. 5,000 bit rate is fine for what I'm doing. If you are playing more modern games, you're going to want to put it to 6. Honestly, 1080p, 6,000 still isn't enough for a lot of movement, but it's the best you're going to get. I've heard you can technically do up to 8,000 ingest into Twitch. I can't say anything confirms it, but I have seen a couple streamers do it, and you can see it on the bottom. If you have certain add-ons that let you see the bitrate, 8,000 is there, but I don't really want to risk it. Next page is audio. There ain't much you have to do here. Your sample rate, bada bada bada. Desktop audio I keep as the default because I want all of my sound to come through. This is just anything that goes out of my desktop is what I want you guys to hear. Desktop 2 I don't use. You can get a lot more in depth in this stuff. There's also tracks and things like that. Your microphone, this is pretty explanatory. If you got multiple microphones or auxiliary audio inputs, this is where they go. Your meter rate is just this. Boom. So this, if I apply that, see how slowly the audio meter goes down now? It doesn't affect anything. It's just about what you prefer. I like the fast rate. I don't change anything. None of this is really necessary for streaming, so I'm going to kind of buzz by it. This next tab, however, is very important. This is your video tab. Your base canvas resolution is this. Your whole background here. Let me scoot this out of the way. This is what, you know, this is what the 1920 by 1080 is. If your screen res is 1080, keep this at 1080. What you're actually sending to Twitch is the output scaled resolution. We do 1080 streams now, so I leave it there. You can put this to 720 and leave the base resolution 1080. It does not cause any problems. This is a huge recommendation if you have, you know, not the greatest internet, not the greatest PC. Even if you do have a good PC or whatever, if you pretty much exclusively run retro games, SNES, NES, Genesis, all that kind of stuff, it's not going to hurt you to run this at 720 because the games will still look good. You know, retro stuff always looks great. If you're just starting out as well, if you're an affiliate, or no, if you're not affiliate, you're a small streamer, you have small numbers, and you don't get transcoding, it doesn't hurt to do 720 for people that have less internet. For those of you who don't know what transcoding is, that's when you watch a Twitch stream and you click the video quality, and you get the options, you know, 1080, 720, 480, 360, so on. That's transcoding. If you're a small streamer and you don't pull enough views, which may not allocate the resources to give you that, so whatever you put out is the only video quality available. So doing 720 in that case is a nice, you know, happy medium for people that don't have great internet to watch you. You know, so they're not constantly buffering trying to watch a 1080 stream. So downscale filter, whatever the default is, you know, fine. You don't really need to change that. Again, I can't change this stuff because, like, I'm in the middle of recording. Common FPS values here. This is going to be your frame rate, obviously. I go with 60. If you're doing stuff that's not movement intensive, you can cut it down to 30, and you'll be fine. The other nice thing about 720, so 720 resolution, when you're doing this, you can down your bitrate to 3500 kilobits, even 3000, and you'll be fine. 720 is half the resolution of 1080. You only need half the data to send. Especially in retro games, you can get away with really, really low specs. A lot of them, you could probably do 30 FPS and you'd be fine. Next, you've got your hotkeys. This is just whatever you guys want to do. I don't have very many set up. You know, I have hotkeys to switch, like you see here, my number pad to switch through scenes. The webcam, this is complaining because I have the same button to show and hide my webcam. All that means is it toggles it. So I'll show you guys right now. If I hit that slash, give it a second, webcam on, my light automatically comes on. Hit it again, webcam off, and then in a second, the light turns off. That's all that is. So next thing you're going to want to do, you got docks. I guess I'll run top down. I didn't really have an order set up. I have no script for this. You guys know how I run my streams. So we'll just deal with it. Here you've got docks, scenes, sources, audio mixer, scene transition I don't have turned on anymore, but that's just this little tab here. Control stats, you know, stats is kind of whatever. Apparently we've missed some frames. Oh, maybe that was out of date. Anyway, what all this, that's irrelevant. This is what I have set up, and this is what I consider important for Twitch. You've got the activity feed here. This is your things like subs, cheer, raid, follows, all that kind of stuff pops up over here. Right side, stream chat. You guys can swap these around all you like. See, grab it, put it on top, put it on the left. Do whatever you want, man. adjust this to work for you. All of these tabs can be drug around wherever you want. If you guys notice this recording timer changing, I'm cutting stuff out. A little bit of a frog in my throat. Anyway, down here, this is one you guys probably won't have, actually. Let me run over this. This is the Sammy bridge and Sammy core. I use Sammy to automate a lot of stream stuff. A lot of you guys don't use it, so you just won't have this section here, which means it's not going to show up as a doc. You have to download stuff for it. Scenes and sources, hugely important. Your scenes are, they're scenes, man. You know, things like your starting soon screen and your BRB, stuff like that. That's what your scene is. It's a collection of sources for a specific event, basically. Let me come back here. Next, you have your sources. Your sources are your video, audio, images, anything like that. That's what a source is. It's anything you're putting on the screen that someone can see or hear. And again, the collection of that is what a scene is. This was kind of confusing to me when I first started because I didn't really know why you would need multiple scenes. But, you know, hey, now I understand. Like, look at all these. Starting soon, main, AFK, cinematic scene I don't use much anymore. That's literally just, I think it has nothing on there except the game input. It was for, like, cutscenes and shit in games. Other things you can do are, let me show my ending screen. You can have game files play on loops. So this is what I do. I just made this little looping file. I have the music on a loop, and that's how I end every scene. And I'll bring it back here so you guys can see what it looks like. But these are all your options. Some of these you guys won't have. Face tracker is the thing I have. It doesn't work yet. Audio input, output. Browser source is things, you know. Stream elements is my biggest browser source right now. But also crowd control, goals, like Twitch goals at the top of my starting soon screen. That's a browser source. Anything you get a URL to post in there, sound alerts as well. That's all browser source stuff. And all you do is you click the little plus, pick what you want. You can make a whole scene a source. See, we're learning something new every day. None of this matters. The important thing, the important thing that you guys are going to be using, if you're just starting on Twitch, most likely game capture or window capture. Game capture is what I prefer to use. I actually have two of them. One of them is for stream avatars. But generally, 90% of what I do is game capture. For some reason, certain things won't do it. BizHawk, the emulator, does not work in game capture. I use window capture for it. I use window capture for my ad timers. As you guys can see, all the random programs you're gonna have. The other nice thing about window captures, it's super easy to crop them. So what you do is, let me pull up a web page here. I'll move that over. I'll run you guys through how to crop this. I just want to pull up, we'll go to the Varia website. So you add a new source, window capture. I'm just going to do add existing, because if I do, let's see, if I do add, will it capture? Yeah, see, so it captures perfectly, right? That's my window, as you guys see it. You can click and drag. The corners make it bigger, drag this whole thing. You can see you can just drag it right off the edge of the page you want. To crop, I think you hold down Alt. There you go. Drag it to the side, and it will just straight up crop it there so you see only what you want to see. That simple. Unless it doesn't work. And occasionally you may have to just make a new source. I couldn't tell you. This is a basic video. Down here at the bottom, we're coming on the end of this, I think. If you guys have questions, let me know. But I think we're about to finish up for the basics. Down here at the bottom, you have your live timer, your CPU usage, recording timer if you locally record. I don't do that anymore. Like, I'm just recording this to put it on YouTube. And then if I was streaming, there would be a little box here that would be green, hopefully. That's just telling you the status of your stream. So if this thing is flashing wild like reds and yellows and orange at you, you've got something going on. And either that means you have an issue with your internet or there's an issue on Twitch's end. If it's your internet, you're probably going to start dropping frames. If you have a weird scenario like I had last week, where it goes red and tells you, it will also tell you your bitrate. So mine went red, said 0 kilobits per second were being sent to Twitch, but I also hadn't dropped any frames and I still had internet and could watch chat go by. Can't do anything about that. It's an issue on Twitch's end. It means their server just wasn't accepting anything I was sending to it. So it's the nature of the beast. Sometimes that's how it goes. I have extra stuff up here you guys probably won't have. I have SE Live, which is like some add-ons for OBS. Just because I use Stream Elements for all of my overlays. This is another thing you guys might want to consider. So here I have my desktop audio, which let me get something else playing and you guys can see what it looks like. Might as well just click Zelda music again. So, here you can see music coming through. This is what's playing on YouTube. Anything that comes through my desktop goes here. You can adjust this up, down. See, that probably killed it for you guys. I can still hear it. You adjust this to where you want it. Oh my god, I don't know where I had it before. This is my microphone. The rule of thumb for properly getting these in the right ratio for streaming, you want your desktop audio in the green, you want your microphone in the red. Or not in the red, the orange there. You don't want it in the red. If you're red, you're clipping and it won't sound good. That's not the right one. Filters. These are your 3 most important filters for your microphone. You want a noise gate, you want a compressor, and you want some noise suppression. This noise suppression is the easiest one. Either fast or good. It's your only 2 options with that. The compressor basically takes whatever noise is coming in, tries to keep it at the same volume. These are my settings. Couldn't tell you what most of these do, but I've played around with it to get it to a spot that seems to work for me. Feel free to take these settings. Feel free to adjust them. Find what works for you. Not everybody talks as loud as I do. You're going to talk a different volume. You're going to sit a different distance from the microphone. So figure out what works the best to keep your microphone right about here. You want it somewhere in the high end of the green, like mid-yellow. Noise gate is important if you have background noise. Like a constant, fan noise, something like that. That's quieter than you, but could be picked up on a microphone. You set this to keep to shut the microphone off when you aren't talking. Oh, it would need a certain noise level to actually kick the microphone on. Also, I like the Zelda music. Don't know what most of it does. Look, the important things here are the close and open threshold. And again, this is going to vary by what noises you have going on in your streaming room. Let me see if I can find anything else that's super important. There's, anytime you want to play with filters and stuff, you click on a source, and, like, I'll turn my camera back on so you guys can see it. Looks like trash. But here's the source. Click filters. This is my chroma key. Now you guys can actually see what I spend a good time dicking around with. That's how all of that works. Properties for anything if you're curious. I didn't want to turn that on. I don't know why that light just turned on. Oh, because the camera clicked on for a second. There's all kinds of filters. Alright. Let me see if there's anything else important. So I'll just go through all these scenes. I think I've hit most of the big stuff today. I mean, this video can always be like updated. I can redo it if you guys have more questions. But this is what's important. My recommendations, if you're doing 1080 at 60 frames per second, 5 to 6,000. 5,000 I really only recommend if you're doing retro stuff and you still don't need that much info being sent out, because your video bit rate here, that's just the data you're sending. It's how much you're sending. There are, you know, custom stuff, but it's really not much. Again, if you have an NVIDIA card and you're using hardware to use that card, there's more settings there. Wish I could help you, but I don't have that. I think that's about it. Yeah, so this is the important one. In case you were ever confused by canvas and scaled, once again, the canvas is literally just the screen. Don't be afraid to leave it. The only time I would say not using 1080 is if like if you're literally running at 720 for resolution, then turn it down. But if you're running 1080, leave that 1080, just change the scaled resolution. This thing will downscale everything for you. It will not be noticeable. I think that's gonna be it, guys. That should get you set up, you know. I didn't mean to actually click that. Thank you so much for watching. Let me give the whole spiel. Thanks for watching, thanks for following, thanks for subs. Yeah, all that good stuff. It's not really what I was planning to do. But if you guys have questions, leave them in the comment, or if you're watching this from Discord, just, you know, ping me in Discord, let me know. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll catch you next time.